to this new series that I'm trying out, see how it works out, something new for 2020. And as you can see, we are going to be doing a bit of cooking and something that I don't particularly enjoy, being in front of the camera and talking. So let's see how this goes. Today we're going to be making pancakes, something really simple. So here are all my ingredients. I read that most professional chefs are men. Actually, in the UK they say about 17%, only 17% of chefs are women. I have no idea why, but that's just the fact. Now, traditionally in my culture, the women will be cooking and the men just come to eat. And even my generation, there's still some men who will not be found in the kitchen doing stuff like this. But also there's some women who don't want their husbands to be in the kitchen because they feel that's their, that's their space, that's their domain, and that's how it should be. Let's start cooking and talk through it. So basically, making pancakes, you've got two sets of ingredients, your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients. It's milk, but in some recipes they use buttermilk. Now, we live in Nairobi, Kenya. I've never seen buttermilk, and the way around that, instead of just having milk, you have milk and then you add 2 tablespoons of vinegar, just regular vinegar, and basically it sours the milk and makes it thick like buttermilk. Stir it a bit and just let it sit there while it processes. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then you have half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and finally 2 tablespoons of sugar. Valentine's Day is coming up, just whisking this together so that they mix. And a lot of times we think of doing big things on Valentine's Day. Take the wife out, take the husband out somewhere really posh for that day and have a good time, and that's good. But again, here's a challenge. I'm challenging you to do this for Valentine's Day and surprise your spouse. So I'm talking to the men out there. So we have melted butter, 1 egg. I just beat it up. This is a very simple thing that you can do for your spouse. So I add all the wet ingredients together. And if you want a little bit of flavor, you can add half a teaspoon of vanilla. That's half a teaspoon. And mix it all up. So you mix it up until it's nice and smooth. You can use a mixer to do this, that makes life so much easier, but I just use a fork. So guys out there who don't really like to be in the kitchen, maybe you can surprise your wife by making this very simple breakfast in bed pancakes. And you can have pancakes with scrambled eggs, and you're basically done. The next thing is to use a 1/4 cup. That's a good size pancake, and you put it on the griddle. So I use a griddle because it has a temperature control. So I just put it on 350, these are degrees Fahrenheit, and it keeps that temperature. But you can also use a non-stick pan on the stove to do the same thing. It doesn't take long. You see the edges of the pancake starting to go slightly, not brown, but very light color. And you also see bubbles on top of the pancake batter. That means that side is done, and then you flip it over. So we're always thinking of doing these big things on Valentine's Day, but really nothing is as beneficial to your relationship as the small, thoughtful things that you do every day. Making pancakes for breakfast once in a while. Just one of those things that you can do that doesn't cost much. You don't need to go anywhere, you don't need to pay for anything except the ingredients, and it's just a thoughtful thing to do. So this Valentine's Day, man, it's a challenge to you. Make some pancakes for your significant other. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Subscribe, don't forget to share, and don't forget to comment, and maybe you can even suggest what you'd like to see in the next episodes.